Aussie Lawn Stars is the first podcast in Australia for the lawn and garden maintenance industry. Hi, I'm Gary Ashton, and my goal is to help businesses survive and thrive with a sharp focus on business systems, skills, and checklists that will ensure you know what will help you stay in business and succeed. With an extensive back catalogue of interviews from our diverse industry, I look for stories, the success tips, and the hard lessons learned. Sometimes we focus on tools and trailer setups and the brands that are the backbone of our support network, but mostly I am driven to find you evidence of what you can do or what you can change to ensure you win. Welcome to the dungeon. I have Craig Galea with me today. How you doing, Craig?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Gary. Yourself?
I almost called you Scott for some reason. Don't ask me why.
Oh, you must have heard me use his name a bit.
But Craig runs a business called Mow Me Over, and you're in Western Sydney. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, in the Hawkesbury area.
In the Hawkesbury.
Yeah.
Beautiful spot. I was down at St Albans a couple of days ago on my motorbike.
Oh, did you get in? Oh, yeah, St Albans. Yeah. I haven't been down there for years.
I just went for a ride with my mate, and we get down there, and there's people and cars everywhere, and I'm like, oh man, we picked the wrong day to come to St Albans.
Yeah, it's that big touristy spot down there.
Well, when we pulled in, I asked one of the people they didn't look like they were stoned. I was like, oh, what sort of festival is it?
Yeah.
He said, oh, it's a folk music festival.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Mate, there would have been thousands of people down there.
There would have been thousands of drugs floating around too, I reckon.
Oh, there would have been everything. Yeah. I know, and they reckon they got drug people down there checking everyone and stuff, but I don't know.
I said to my mate, I said, walking through the crowd, hold your breath.
Might have been a good bike ride home, though. Just floating with the ferries, be nice.
I don't know if you've ever done much on motorbikes, but the ride from Newcastle down to St Albans, like I go through the Wadigans and then down the back road. It's the old convict road down to St Albans.
Yeah.
It is magical ride. It's so beautiful riding through there, and you don't have to be on mushrooms to think it's magical.
Yeah, right.
Excuse me.
No, that's good. No, mate, I haven't been there that way for a long time.
It's a great spot.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about motorbikes. I think some people are switching off if I talk about motorbikes too much.
Oh, but you know what? It would be part of your conversation if it was nothing about motorbikes. We all know you love it.
Oh, it has to be. And, if somebody doesn't love motorbikes, we just find something else that they love and get talking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, look, we used to ride bikes as kids and stuff, but I keep saying I was going to get my licence, but never did. From that way. These days I might think about it because it was bloody cheaper for fuel with the way it's all going.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's crazy expensive at the moment, but it's a bit hard to tow a trailer on a motorbike.
Mate, anything can be done these days. Anything can be done.
I have seen motorbikes with trailers on, but it's still. How big's your Skag?
The 61 inch, yeah.
That'd be a bit of a challenge behind the bike.
Could be, but I'll give it a go. We'll try it one day and see what happens.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So, Craig, given your business name is Mow Me Over, I'm guessing you mow grass.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Do you do other services? Because what I'm looking at recently is the difference between entry points into our industry, whether people come in to mow grass or whether they come in with a horticulture background, like more gardens, maintenance, landscape, architecture, all the different possibilities of entry points. But you've got to have come in with the mind that you want to cut grass, and that's your entry point.
Well, yeah, many years ago, I did Parks and Gardens trade certificate.
Ah, there you go.
I've done irrigation and everything else, but that was all, like, we're talking 20 years ago, I suppose it would be.
Yeah, so before I started business then.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah. I've been in horticulture and off and on all the way through. Where I've worked, places I've worked and stuff. But yeah, I did a certificate and all that crap back in the day.
Okay, so you have a wider exposure to horticultural practices and gardening and various different components.
Yeah. Because back when I did, it was not a big thing, or was a big thing, but not a great deal. Parks and Gardens was just being introduced to, or wasn't? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get straight into the meat of that then, because this is a question that's a perpetual question that keeps coming around, and some of the guys in Victoria are really on the nose with this question. But we'll put it to you because I think you're an excellent person, an excellent case in point to prove what's valuable in our industry. You have the background, you'd have a good understanding of plants and when to prune and fertilizers and irrigation, all the various different things that you could call on if you want to.
Yeah.
You've decided to target lawn mowing more specifically, though?
Yeah, I have. So I used to do a bit of gardening and stuff like that, but it wasn't my forte, as they say. It wasn't. I'd enjoyed it, but didn't. Off and on, I do it, and I still do it now and then. But I would rather be mowing lawns in a paddock somewhere for 5 or 6 hours.
Is this for mental health reasons, or is this because it's an easier business model to make money?
A bit of both. I can't do a lot of. Well, I do a lot of head trimming. Well, I can't do head trimming like I used to. Bad shoulders with car accidents and all the stuff that happens when we're younger.
Yep.
And that's where I've changed a little bit. I get too frustrated with the gardening stuff, and I don't enjoy it as much as well.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I still do bits and pieces. But
so I'm guessing you pay your employee to do all the jobs you don't want to do, right?
That's basically what, yes. Yeah, that's why I've got them on board, and it helps out a bit more from that. So.
Yeah, okay. And that's probably the next question. So let's drill down on this one first, though. Like in terms of business models that you could choose in our industry, having a low barrier to entry means we get a lot of people come in from the lawn mowing path just because they don't need to know anything. You've come in with the background and knowledge, the trade certificate, but you've still headed that direction. The next question that comes up there is in terms of profitability of a business or business choices that people would make. I'm sorry to go so deep with you so quickly.
No, it's all good.
It's a interesting point is that some people will look at this and go, I just want the most simple business I can think of. I'm in control of everything myself. I don't have employees. I don't have to worry about gardening. I just cut grass. It's really simple. I can make a profit, quite a tidy profit, mind you. And it's a really simple way to live. With a few catches. If you hurt yourself, you got no employees or no way of making money or anything like that. But a lot of people choose that really simple entry, and it's a really simple business model. They don't want employees. They don't want a difficulty of knowing all the different things. They just want to cut grass.
Yeah.
You've got that model of you're primarily focused on cutting grass, but then you've gone that step up and gone, all right, I'm going to have a couple of employees. So does that give you peace of mind that you don't have to be on the tools 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 4 days a week? Or does it give you peace of mind that you got an income that's not just your work on the tools?
Yeah, so I've got, the person I've got at the moment, they're casual, a couple of days a week, and they sub it to me, which is fine because they're doing their own bits and pieces. Which helps. I still work 6-7 days a week. I just enjoy it. I can't sit still. It's much probably the wrong thing to be doing, but it's the right thing. You know, it's bringing in the money. I'm comfortable doing it. Yeah, I just can't sit. With that, having the casual on board helps because I can get them to do the garden work. So I don't mind spraying because I do weed spraying and stuff as well. So I've got properties where I'll go and spray fence lines and that. I can be on the whippersnippers for hours and stuff. With that, so I still do that. Just the bits and pieces of the gardening is not my forte in a way.
We were talking about weed spraying the other day when we were lining this interview up, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it's a separate big question for that stuff.
Yeah, well, maybe we should cover some of that in a minute. But
if you want.
I wanted to sort of work this out because I think that's interesting. People have many reasons why they choose a particular path in business, and our industry gives you so many options. Trying to understand what's brought you to that choice, I think, is really important. And that's
it's me. It's mowing. I've just loved mowing. It's always been there. I remember doing it as a kid, mowing when you help people out and parents, grandparents and stuff, and that was always the way. Gardening was just never my thing. I mean, I got the trade certificate to help back when I started or back in the day to do it all when I was working at other companies. to have something behind us as a qualification.
Yeah, and you've been in business for quite a while now. But,
8 years, 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, something like that.
Okay.
Not like
so when you refer to 20-odd years, that's through working with other people as well?
Working with other people and stuff, when I've done. So I've worked for others, worked everywhere. So in a few different places. Not everywhere, but a few different places.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And you're only a few years older than me, so there's not much in it. But when you decided you like lawn mowing more than the other things, did you crunch the numbers and go, oh yeah, is this profitable, or what's the most profitable path to take?
No, didn't. I don't. Yeah, as people will know in some of the conversations I've had with them, I'm not a business person. Numbers and stuff I get an idea of, but not a great deal. I just keep checking with the accountant, and as long as I see the money coming in and it's rising in the bank account and everything's paid, there's a profit coming through. With that, slowly working it out. It takes me a while. People can say stuff to me, and it might take 10 goes for me to sort of understand it with that sort of stuff. But it's working. Whatever I'm doing is working.
Yep.
Which is a good thing.
You said nothing's off limits, right? Other than your wife and your kids. But talk about numbers. I had a very awkward conversation with my accountants and my wife in the room. This is going back a while now, but when my numbers weren't where I wanted them to be, and the accountants were looking over my numbers, and they're like, oh, you should be pushing a higher hourly rate on the job. So they talked to me about what my hourly rate was, and they're like, oh, you should be at least 70 plus GST. So this is a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
So at that point in time, they're like, you should be at least 70 plus GST if you want your business to be viable. And we were talking about getting numbers from $80,000 to $120,000 a year, that sort of ballpark of what I was trying to aim for at that point. And, if you're doing 70 plus GST, that ballpark will land you in that. It's quite a dynamic range there, like 80 to 120. That's a big range.
Yeah, it is, but that's...
So how does that sit with you now? And keep in mind, over the 8 years odd that you've been running your business, those prices have changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
How do you find your business sitting in terms of comparable to other people on LMCA or other people you talk to?
Yeah, so look, it's one of those hard ones. Like, it's that question: do you hourly or per job type setup with it all?
I'm really comfortable with both, depending on the customer's needs.
So am I. I'm for either one because I work. You make it work the way that you do your business.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
And let's be honest, everyone is going to get an estimate of your hourly rate anyway. When you say you're going to charge whatever for a job, they're going to, you're here for 5 hours, 8 hours, we'll just divide it up in your brains like we all would do. And that's going to be roughly what you're charging. So, but what I ended up doing was, over the years, speaking to the accountant, and I just one time went to the accountant, what do I need to make per hour that covers everything and it'll have a profit on it? And they told me, and I went, that's what I need to get per day. Okay, that's what I need to do. And, every day's not going to be the same, but you try and get it up to that, or you're going to have better and worse days going through, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I've done. Like, people have heard me talk about this on the podcast almost every chance I get, but in terms of comparing an hourly to a day rate to a week rate to a monthly rate and an annual rate to make sure that you allow for those bad days and good days and that your averages actually end up where you want them to be.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and like I said, I'm not a numbers person, but I look at it, I keep speaking to the accountant, they go, no, it's doing well, you're paying the bill. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and that's what you want to hear, right?
That's exactly what you want to hear. Yeah, that's exactly right. With all.
And I think the really important one there is to understand the difference between profit and paying yourself as a business owner, not just the profit, but also a wage for the time that you spend in the business.
Well, then I've got something for you. I don't do a wage.
Neither do I.
Oh, okay. Yeah, righto. Yeah. But
I do. Sorry?
There are ways to do it with the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say that paying yourself a wage as the employer or as the business owner, I think it's important that you can differentiate between am I worth $35 an hour when I'm on the tools, and how much am I making overall in the business?
Yeah.
So I'd like to know that I'm worth more than $35 an hour.
But the same. Well and truly. If we're not, well then that's that's got an issue. But I've got to say though, one of the things that I did learn after a fair few years of doing it, and where you were talking about, like your accountants were saying, your rates should be higher at 70 and stuff. A few people said it to me in the accountant. He said, "You're not the customer. Don't feel sorry for them. You're a business. You need to be making the money."
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, it took a while to click in. And I was still, we've all been down there, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and stuff like that when we've all first started. There's all that. But that's sort of what I've been saying to people. You're not that customer. You're not a customer. They'll accept it or they're not. You can't feel sorry for them. You got to make a living like we all do.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you pay an employee $35 an hour, and then you pay your other expenses, you'll probably find that your expenses with wages is up at close to $70 an hour nowadays. And so if you're charging 70 plus GST, you're not making money after you pay a wage if you've got an employee. So that's why I think it's really important to differentiate between how much is the wage worth for the hour as well as other expenses, and then am I actually making a profit after paying myself what it's worth to do the labour.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Some people will get it straight away. And like we've seen on a lot of the podcasts and stuff, some people are about making the money, the business and everything else from there.
Yeah.
With it all.
Yeah. So, I think that there's plenty of opportunities to get caught out if we're not aware of those things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Well and truly with it all.
Yeah, so, Craig, tell me a bit more about Mow Me Over. You're in the Hawkesbury region, and that covers a large area. Like we said, I was at St Albans, but that's still a fair way from you.
So a lot of the stuff I've tried to keep around close to my area. So we're in Freeman's Reach on the other side of the river. It's all good, but which is really funny, there's a lot of my work these days are in other suburbs, not in my area.
Yeah, fair enough.
Go with that.
So you end up travelling a little bit for work?
Yeah. So I'm about an hour and a half away each way for the work that I'm doing. So, but that's life.
Yeah, well, I guess that's where the work is for the type of work that you're chasing, right?
Well, yeah, it is. Look, there's a lot of work in our area too, but there's a lot of contractors out this way in the Hawkesbury. It's really surprising.
I'm not surprised, but yeah.
The last, say, 2-3 years, there's been a lot more coming in, and a lot of them are coming in from out of the area and stuff as well. But it is what it is.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of them will actually vaporise with harder times. They'll be like, I'd rather have a paid job where I know there's that good, solid income coming in regularly rather than trying to run a business.
Yeah, well, that's, the last, we're talking 5 years has been pretty good for weather-wise with all the rain that we've had. And then, it's like where we are, we've had to deal with all the floods and everything else as well.
That's it.
Going through. But, I'm looking for drought. It's that 10-year cycle. So I reckon that'll be coming up soon as well.
I reckon you're right. So it'll be interesting times to see how many people get shaken out of the tree when there's a bit of dry weather for more than 5 minutes of dry weather.
Well, it's even now. Like, I mean, I'm noticing now, like, everything's starting to slow down well and truly, and it hit pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's dry, how dry the ground is.
Yes.
At the moment, so I don't know. You'd be the same up your way too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Things are still green at the moment, but the growth has come to a halt pretty much.
Yeah, we've still got green, but the growth is going down. So,
and that's happened early. It's happened much earlier this year than what it normally happens. So normally I predict the end of April, and we are currently a few days out from that. I would say the last 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, I've noticed the growth has dropped off quite a lot. I'd agree with that. It was, we're the same. It's a lot earlier than what I thought it would be. But we're noticing too, it's a lot of colder days. Well, mornings and nights are cold and the days are beautiful at the moment. Yeah.
It is. But, it'll be a cold winter too. I think we need to get a cold winter back.
Yeah, I think we're in for a cold winter. But it's perfect weather at the moment, and that's going to change very rapidly over the next few weeks. And as we head into winter, it's going to get colder.
Yeah,
But at the moment, it's great.
Yeah. It's good. So sort of getting prepped for it, but we'll see what. We'll see.
So when you started your business, did you go straight into the ride-on work so you could do the big open paddocks and?
No, I did. Let me think. No, it was more residential stuff for a bit.
Mm.
And then, maybe I did actually. Just thinking, it might have been, maybe about 3 months in, I decided to get a ride on. It was only a basic Toro sit down to do it, and I had issues with it like nothing else. It was not commercial, so it was just under commercial.
Yeah, old time cutter.
Yep. The drive belt kept going in. There was stuff I was putting up on the LMCA and stuff about it too. So I dealt with that for maybe 12 months. Yeah, then ended up changing brands. So
yeah, okay. So you had the Toro time cutter 12 months in. You're like, no, need something that's going to keep up.
Yeah, something that's going to last and easy to fix.
Yeah, and I think pretty much any brand you can find a fairly decent commercial unit that will keep up. But a lot of us started with those resi or consumer, prosumer models.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you got to start somewhere. When you start, haven't got the money to do it. So
yeah, that's right.
Start and see how it goes. It's just been one of those things that we've done with it all.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you move to?
Skag. So I went to the Skag and went to the Stander when they first basically started being a big thing.
So that was at the time when they were first making their entry into Australia and making a lot of noise.
Yeah, so around about been 2019, 20 that I got the Skag Stander. I think the first one.
Yeah.
With it all. Yeah, just trying to find. I looked at a few different models and like what was around the area, as we all try and say to people to do it. And for me, it was the blade belt as well. What was going to be the quickest, easy to fix for the Stander. So I did the research and spoke to a few people on the contractors page about the Skag, and then just went to the local shop and basically got one.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think a lot of people will say, "Oh, Skag's always breaking belts," but a lot of ride-on mowers, particularly when you push the limits, are going to break belts. It's not just Skag.
No, that's right.
So knowing that you can replace the belt easily, that it's a fairly easy job for you, you've got easy access to purchase belts when you need them is important.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I've found, like in the Hawkesbury, there's a local pulley place that does belts and pulleys, which was good. So I'd get some of their cheaper brands, and I'd had some Skag ones. I mean, I went through a stage. I was breaking a blade belt a month. A week.
Yeah, wow.
For a couple of weeks, and don't know why. Don't know, cutting regular lawns, everything. And there was just something not right with it all, which happens with the work that we do.
Yeah.
But I've changed spindles and pulleys and everything on the V-Ride. And ended up sorting itself out. It's happy days. It's part of what, we do, part of what we've got.
No, that's good that it's sorted and working properly.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's been through some interesting jobs.
So you put a few hours on that machine?
Oh yeah, that's the 48 inches got. What is it? It's 5 years. Yeah, so it would have been 2020. I think I got it. That's got nearly 2,000 hours on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's testimony to them actually being commercial machines, being able to hit 2,000 hours and you're still using it.
If you're out there tackling strata sites, commercial grounds, retirement villages, or those tough summer acres, a full commercial mower makes all the difference. That's why more commercial contractors are switching to Right Standers, the original stand-on mower, available in Australia through Cox dealers nationwide. Built tough for our conditions, the legendary AeroCore deck delivers a flawless, even cut every time. Quick manoeuvrability in tight spots, compact design for easier trailer loading, Kawasaki or Briggs engines, hydro gear drives, and a serious commercial durability. Stand instead of sit for less fatigue, better visibility, quicker jobs, and more profit in the bank. From the Standard B for great value to the X or ZK for next level performance, everyone is raving about the upgrade. Head to rightmowersaustralia.com.au or your local dealer today. Be sure to mention Aussie Lawn Stars. Right Mowers get the job done faster, cleaner and easier. Your back and your business will thank you.
Still using it. It's had some issues, but that's expected with it all. So, yeah, we've got that one. And then last year I went and got the 61-inch Stander XL.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the V-Ride XL is noticeably different to the standard V-Ride.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah. Well, they're running a 40 horsepower motor in them. Bigger with the hydros and everything else. I mean, the people on the pages will see there's been complaints about them as well, but that's just something that's getting fixed with them all. Every brand, I suppose, has those issues.
Yeah, every brand will have some teething issues, and particularly if they're trying to bring a new model to market. It's saying the same thing about motorbikes. If you buy the first iteration of a model, you expect to see some issues come along.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah. But no, I've got that. Those ones, so they help us out. And I've got an old Kubota front deck motor as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that for the rough and ready stuff.
Yeah, so is that up around the same size, around that 60-inch?
That's a 72-inch front
72-inch. Yeah, they're a good machine, but if it's getting old, it's probably notice it.
Oh, yeah, and it's only good, a lot of it's only Kubota parts in it. So that's the biggest problem with it all. Because I've done a blade belt on it on the weekend, hit 3 lumps of concrete, so it didn't go down too well.
Yep.
Yeah, so a belt for that is $430, I think.
Yeah, you're going to notice that, aren't you?
Yeah. I found a place over in America where I can get belts. I can get them basically delivered for nearly $200 each belt. So
yeah, half price.
Works out cheaper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a 94 model, I think.
Wow, it's been around a while then.
It's been around a while. A lot of it's still original, which is good.
Got a few hours on it then?
Oh, yeah, that hasn't worked for a fair few years there, so I've got no idea what's on there. But, they're a good machine. I can't complain about them. The motor in them everything's really well. Good. Plenty of power.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, so around Freeman's Reach and the Hawkesbury region, you'd have quite a lot of acreage properties.
Yeah.
But do you find there's a mix of residential in there, or is it more when you're travelling further afield you hit the residential?
No, there's a mix around this area. It depends, I suppose, what side of the river you go to, but like up on my side, there's North Richmond and stuff, which is residential areas, and Acreage, Wilberforce, it depends on what it is, Glossadia and stuff, there's acreage there. And then on the other side, you got Windsor and Richmond and all McGrath's Hill and everywhere, which is residentials as well.
Yeah, okay. So with the residential work, and I could see this coming up, but you're talking different equipment, and I guess it's worth touching on some of the equipment you've purchased recently, push mower, backpack blower, bits and pieces. You've gone to Crest?
Yes, I've done the Crest. It's I've tried a few different brands with the blowers and hand mowers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But just looking into it, I've had Ego. I've tried Cenex. What else have I had? I had some basic Ryobi gear as well with them all, but they're just not up to our standards, like not for commercial.
So I'm guessing you're talking battery equipment there across the board. Have you been running petrol gear for some of that?
Yeah, petrol Honda HRU 216. I did have a Toro 30-inch. Good mower, but that, as you've seen on the pages, they just keep breaking down. Like it's a common problem with them all, with cables and belts and stuff going on them. And I was just got to the point I just not going to keep fixing the thing.
You can You can put some hop-up parts in them and put like aluminium pulleys.
Pulleys and stuff. Yeah, we upgraded the pulleys and stuff into it too, but the cables kept going on it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I've had enough of it. It's time to go.
Yep.
So
fair enough.
But I keep going. Honda HRU 216, and I bought a Massport self-propelled last year as well.
Yeah, okay.
I lined one for the casuals to use, or when I get someone to give me a hand because they found the Hondas were too heavy for them.
Yep.
So
fair enough.
With that. So, but mainly I'm just going back with the battery stuff now.
So the Crest mower that you've bought, they're pretty much as heavy as a Honda.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe even heavier.
I reckon with the battery in them, they're heavier for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think they're pretty close to the same weight as the Honda without the battery, and the battery's up around 10 plus kilos. I think 10 kilos.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
With
that, but I've done a bit of research and talking, and just went, let's bite the bullet, and did it from there. So it's not cheap. Let me tell you, I'd say to everyone, it's not a cheap thing, but it's worth it. Well and truly. I can't fault the machines. The battery, the Crest battery mower.
On that front, people will form their own opinions, and they'll go, it's not worth it for me. I don't want to spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a self-propelled battery mower. But it's up to each person to work out what works for them. I would say that the Crest mower is equivalent in power to the Honda HRU 216.
I would say so. Yeah. I'm going to be doing some trials with it soon. I've been just using it on regular stuff, like regular maintained lawns. But I will, over the next maybe month, I'll try it on some long overgrown stuff and see what it likes, how it'll drain where the battery drains. That's what the battery is. A problem with the batteries. Like, you hit heavy stuff, it's going to drain it.
Look, it is a problem, but it's not a problem. And I think that where people get confused there is the batteries are very efficient when you're cutting maintained grass and you're only just taking the tip off the grass. But when you start putting a load on the electric motor, then the batteries go flat a lot quicker. Right? Yeah. So your run time, and I've seen it with the battery whippersnippers where it can go from like a 1 to 2 hour runtime on some whippersnippers if you're really efficient, down to 15 minutes. Yeah. So if you can flatten the same battery in 15 minutes just by increasing the load on the motor, you can imagine you're going to have the same experience with a mower that's battery powered, that you can severely reduce the runtime just by increasing the load on the motor.
Yeah, but I suppose for us, we would go, that's common sense in a way, because we've been dealing with this stuff for a long time. But when people are coming in, it's one of those hardest parts to understand, I suppose, in a way. And I don't mean that in a bad way for anyone. Yeah, it drains when it gets to the bigger stuff. Like with the Crest, because I've got I ended up getting the mower, the hand mower, and a backpack blower, and I've got, I think I got the blower when it was a bundle with a charger. And then I bought a couple of white batteries. So I've got 3 white batteries and a red battery for those 2 implements at the moment. So I can sort of go a good couple of days mowing before I've got to charge a battery.
That's interesting. So people listening want to know exactly what that means, right?
Yeah,
and that's for you. Are you talking a couple of days where that's predominantly the mowing you're doing? You're not jumping on the Skag and doing 8 jobs and then doing 1 job with the Crest?
No. So with some of the work we've got now is for a home mob. So part of their home and land packages that does it from there. So which is a good thing. We can just park the vehicles and walk down a street, and that's your work for the day. I can get, and this is the hard part. The yard sizes vary, so that's where it's a bit hard to say how many yards you're going to get and how you're mowing it and everything else. But I can get about 8 to 10 of weekly cut lawns done in a day before I've got to look at putting the battery in. Change the battery, and that's the white battery, the big larger battery.
So just assuming that they're well-maintained lawns, and that's the basis that you're making these numbers, these claims from, are you talking like a new subdivision where they're 100 or 200 square metre lawns, or are we talking 400 square metres of lawn?
Oh, it'll range. So the yards are all, like I said before, yards are all different sizes. They're not a standard size yard in these things. So, yeah, it could be like, well, put it this way. There's one backyard that takes us 45 minutes to mow. So it's a good size, and it's only a 950 square block. Oh, we use catchers, don't mulch, because I like to look at looking nice and clean. We will mulch sometimes, but, we get fussy with some of that stuff. And then we can have a yard that'll take 15, 20 minutes to mow, and that's whippersticking the whole lot. So that's that vary.
Yeah, look, I think that's really useful information for people to hear, because that's what they base their decisions on, is how much can you do? Are you getting through a whole day on one battery, or are you getting through 5 yards, 1 yard, that sort of thing? And then what size are they averaging at over the day? Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it depends on the turf too. If it's a new turf lawn, we're mowing them after 2 weeks, and they're growing long, thick blushes because it's kikuyu lawns. So we might use one battery for 2 of those properties.
Yeah.
From there.
So, touching back on what you said, like you bought 3 white batteries.
Yeah.
And how many red batteries?
1 red.
Yep. Okay. For people who haven't looked at Cress, the batteries that we're talking about, and I'm going to do an interview with Cress fairly shortly, but we'll go more in depth with it when I talk to Cress. So the white battery is one you can put on a backpack with the blower, or you can put it on a backpack harness and run a whippersnapper, hedge trimmer, whatever, multi-tool, all that sort of stuff. But it's a large battery. It is 1.5 kilowatt hours of battery, and they're a 60-volt system. So I think it's 25 amps. 60 volts or 1.5 kilowatt hours of battery. That off the top of my head, I think that sounds right.
Yes, it sounds about right.
Yeah. They're an expensive battery. So when you buy 3 of them, you're spending a few dollars.
Yeah.
But so the red battery is 660 watt hours, so 0.66 of a kilowatt. And the other significant difference there that people will be interested in is, with those batteries in particular, the white battery is different in its engineering to the red battery, which means the white battery will take longer to charge than the red battery.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Not just based on the size of the battery, but also based on the chemistry of it, right? So the white battery, if you run the white battery on your blower and it gets warm, it actually needs to cool down before it will start charging, whereas the red one, you can run it on any of the tools and put it straight on charge. It charges straight away and it charges really quickly. So when people hear that Cress has their fast charge, that red battery will charge in 20 minutes up to 80%, or I think it's about 25, 26 minutes to get to 100%, and it's ready to go. Whereas the white batteries, if they're hot, that's about a 3-hour turnaround. If it's not hot, it's 90 minutes to charge.
Yeah, that's about right, because I've experienced that with one of them too, because, I'll just go and buy them and try it and read the instructions and talk to the people I need to talk to. And, we found a couple of times that in the heat, it just didn't, it took a while to charge. So it had to cool down, put it in the shade, and done. Because that's what I've actually found with the mower too. When I've had them in the sun, mowing the lawns, and stop to empty or talk to someone, go back to start it again. And if it's sitting and the battery's covered on the mower, as you know, but if it's got the heat in it, it won't start. You've got to go and put it in the shade for 5 minutes to let the whole thing cool down, and then you can go for, to use it.
Yeah, so that is really relevant when you're talking about the value in the batteries, because the white battery has a life expectancy and warranty to match it. I think it's around 1,200 cycles. on warranty, and I think it's 3 plus 2 years if you register it. Then you get your 5-year warranty. The red battery has, I think it's 3,000 or 4,000 cycles on the warranty and a 5 plus 2 year warranty. So if you register it, you get the 7 years, I think, on that one.
Yeah, and look, that was one of the things that I went over with the Crest for was the warranty. Too. I mean, like you said, it's a lot of money for the batteries, but to me, that warranty part's worth it.
Well, when you're spending that much money and you've got a lifetime of warranty there, it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, understanding the difference too in between the white and the red battery and those backpack style batteries, and then when you go to their smaller batteries, you got 2 different batteries available that are 240 watt hours. So keep in mind the smaller batteries are both 240 watt hours. Then you've got the big backpack one that's 660 watt hours, and then the big white one that is 1500 watt hours.
Yeah, righto. Okay. Yeah. I looked into it. Like, I mean, but as I said, it's to me, it's worth the money if you got work with it, and and especially now at the moment with all these fuel prices. But it's worth the coin to do it.
Yep. So with their small batteries, they've got 2 different ones. One of them is called a nano, and the other one's just their regular fast charge one. And the nano charges in about 12 minutes, whereas the fast charge one is 8 minutes.
Yep.
Now, the fast charge one is the same battery capacity as the nano, but it's twice the weight.
Yeah, right. So you're getting twice the length out of it to be used? No. Okay.
So they both hold the same capacity. They'll both get the same run time, but the heavier one charges twice as quick as the lightweight one. So the other thing with those cartridge batteries is that at 240 watt hours, they're fairly small compared to other brands of cartridge style batteries. So if you're talking about putting a cartridge battery on the back of a whippersnipper, you go for the nano because it's lightweight and whippersnipper feels great. But you get about half the runtime out of that compared to other brands where they have 300 and something watt hours of battery sitting on the tool.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind. I actually prefer getting the backpack battery, the red one, on the harness and connecting that up to the whippersnipper because of the runtime and also because it's a quick charge battery. Yeah. I found that a really good combo.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking about getting the whippersnipper with the backpack battery on it as well. I'm using the petrol one at the moment, but we're maintaining those lawns pretty good, so I thought it might be worth getting the battery in and giving it a go from there, because I think it's worth the money for Crest from what I found.
Yeah, well, I rate that, but I found with the backpack harness connected to the whippersnipper feels well balanced. It's actually, I prefer that over having the battery on the back of it. It's still fine. It's still fine with the cartridge battery on it to operate it. Yeah. The lightweight one, the heavy one, a little bit awkward. But yeah, if you want to really enjoy the whippersnipper, I find using the umbilical cord, use the red battery because you can charge it as quickly as you can flatten it pretty much on that whippersnipper. And and it's got 3,000 to 4,000 cycles. So it's a lot of battery usage.
I want to see how long I can get out of a red battery compared to like the petrol, and how many lawns I can get done, because like going back to where we were flat out in spring, like we were mowing 20 lawns a day. I'd whippersnip, and then the other offside would be doing the mowing and would change around a little bit, but I just did all the whippersnippers. So I'd be interested to see how it goes for that sort of setup.
Yeah, so most battery commercial whippersnippers, you'll have a battery that's a cartridge battery goes on it, and you expect most of the brands, you expect to get around the 25 to 45 minutes of runtime, depending on how heavy the work is and the size of the battery. But just an average, most of the brands will have a reasonable commercial whippersnipper and battery combo that you're in that sort of ballpark. 25 minutes is on the low side, but if you're working it a little bit harder, like I think the Stihl is one that a lot of people say, if you go the most powerful Stihl whippersnipper in their battery lineup and you put their AP300 battery in it, you can find 20, 25 minutes and it's flat, and you're like, whoa, that's gone quickly. But if you're doing light work and you turn the power down, then 45 minutes is comfortable, right? 30
Yeah,
45.
and you know, 45 minutes, that's a fair few lawns, residential lawns.
Yeah.
Going through.
So by comparison to the Cress,
yeah,
that is something that's interesting, right? If you compare those averages with other tools, I think Husqvarna are one of the brands that stands out for having a lighter weight whippersnipper, and you know, it still comes in there comparable to other brands, but they're just a little bit on the lighter side. If you go the Crest with the umbilical cord, you get that lightweight, which is awesome, right? But the significant difference there is you're comparing most brands around that 300 watt hours of battery storage on the tool, and it's a little bit heavier, whereas with the Crest you'd put the red backpack battery on that's 660 watt hours. So that available power is going to determine your runtime. Obviously, how hard you work the snip is going to make a difference.
That's what it comes down to, yeah.
With 660 watt hours, I did routine maintenance, but working it hard, and I got well over an hour runtime out of that by doing that. So if I'm going to say, if you're doing routine maintenance where you're not working it so hard, you're potentially going to get a whole day work on that one.
That'll be interesting to do, because like I've used the Ego before, and I've had their whippersnipper, and I've tried. What did that have? Oh, that had the backpack battery. I tried their backpack battery in one, and then I had the back brace where you can take the batteries off and on and change as well.
Yeah, okay,
and using all their things. I had issues with the battery, so that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, a lot of people had issues with the batteries. Most of them you could resolve by holding the button down and doing a full reset, but not always.
No, not always. And again, it was just no one local to have a look at and fix them.
When they're only available in Sydney Tools.
Yeah, Sydney Tools, or like we've got a guy in Castle Hill that services them, or did service them. I don't know if he still does. And I know there's other contractors like in the Hawkesbury area, but we'd have to drive to Castle Hill and back. So to me, that's like a 3-hour turnaround.
Yep.
Dropping it off.
We're similar. Like I'm working Central Coast most of the time, but in Newcastle, there's a dealer that sells Ego and services them. So he's phenomenal. Yeah. He is phenomenal, but it's a bit of a drive for me.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, what do you do though? That's one of the things I've got. I mean, Crest, nothing's gone on with it so far. I mean, who fixes theirs? I think that'll be Dirk from Robotic Mowers.
Yeah, so you would have Dirk there. You did have a shop that went bankrupt, I think, somewhere around the Western Sydney as well that was a Crest dealer.
There's another couple, like there is one in Richmond that's a Crest dealer, but they won't fix. They don't service.
Okay, there you go.
That's the thing that I find frustrating.
Yeah, that would be a problem. So we've got one on the Central Coast. I think it's Bridge Mowers or Bridge Street Mowers. I'll double check that.
Yeah.
So they're a great dealer. A lot of guys on the Central Coast respect them. So they're a Crest dealer. So.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But that's why I think it should be. If you're going to sell the product, you should be able to maintain it. Because they sell Ego as well and everything else, and they don't service a lot of those battery tools.
But this has been unanimous with battery gear that a lot of dealers, not just dealers, but also the battery brands, have been sold as this is a non-serviceable item. And so that's something where dealers are having to change their attitude towards it and go, okay, what can we service on battery equipment? What can we actually repair versus just telling the end user to buy a new tool?
Yeah. Well, that was like with the Ego. I had a self-propelled, and it was one of their, we're talking not long after they come out, so it was before their commercial stuff was fully commercial. And it was going to cost me, I think the guy said $600, $700 to repair the self-propelled mower. And I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So you got tossed.
That's been my experience with numerous brands, is that if there's a problem with your battery-powered tool, it's often not worth repairing. And I think that comes down to whether your dealer is looking out for you and whether they're willing to actually put it on the computer and analyze what's failed and give you options that are reasonable, or whether they just want to sell you another tool and throw it in the bin.
Yeah, and that's the way society is. I think with a lot of stuff, it's a throwaway.
But keep in mind, so the Cress and Ego, Husqvarna, Bushranger, it's still all the brands I've looked at and either used them, tested them, borrowed them.
Yeah,
most of them,
part of it, yes.
Their battery tools are comparable in price, and if you're buying the Cress tool only, so we call it the skin when we're talking battery products, right? If you buy their whippersnipper, their skin is comparable to any other brand, and their battery whippersnipper skin is probably cheaper than what a petrol whippersnipper is. But it's a skin, so you don't have a charger or a battery.
That's right. And as we know, it's the batteries that are the most expensive part of the tools.
And with Cress, you feel it more than anything. But any brand, like if you say go to Husqvarna or Stihl, you're going, okay, one skin, one battery, and one charger might come as a kit, and you spend $1,000.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. But as you know, and we know it, that you can't just have the one battery. You got to go and buy 3s, 4s, 5s of the battery so you can make sure it runs and lasts for the day.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people took up Ego initially, was because of those battery redemptions they were offering.
Yeah. Oh, look, I can't fault it. It's just, that was then and this is now. Also, it seems to be Cress might be the way of moving forward.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how your Cress gear goes over a few years. So we might have to get you back in the dungeon in a couple of years' time and go, all right, how many of those Cress tools have had warranty claims? How many are still running from the originals?
Yeah.
And I think if you take a petrol whippersnipper and you get commercially 2 years out of it, I think you've done pretty well. Some of the older Stihls you might see 5-10 years out of. I know I have that experience with some of the older 2-stroke tools, but most of the current range, any brand, if you run a whippersnipper for more than 2 years, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, they're getting pretty average by the end of 2 years.
Well, yeah, that's right. No, I totally agree with that. That's the thing with it all. Everyone will tell you. A lot of people say it. That is after about 3 to 4 years, is get new tools.
So when it comes to battery,
I should say that's petrol, not battery.
Yeah. So when it does come to battery, though, the number one failure point I have seen on battery-powered skins tools is the throttle trigger. So all the brands listening, get your throttle triggers to last more than 2 years, and most of your tools will just keep on running.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, with the Ego, refresh the memory there. Yeah, the Ego, I've had to replace the throttle on the whippersnipper. Yeah, once or twice with that. So, it does. But again, it depends on what we do with them, how we use them, everything else, maintain them, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I know some of the brands have done a lot of work on that. So
they have, yeah.
I've got a quick shout out to our sponsor, Sortscape, at sortscape.com/lawnstars. Job management built specifically for lawn mowing and garden maintenance. If you're still running your business off a paper diary or a basic calendar, Sortscape gives you the stuff they can't. Drag and drop scheduling, route optimization, automatic customer text and email reminders, plus job timers, so you can track time on site and cut the after hours paperwork. Visit sortscape.com/lawnstars. It also keeps your crew organised with customer history, notes and photos right in the app, so you're not relying on memory or pretty sure we did that last time. Visit sortscape.com/lawnstars.
We'll see how that changes, particularly with you running Cress now. I've got similar lineup with Cress to you. I've got the backpack blower and the mower. I'm just running a whole heap of bushranger gear now, so I'm going to be seeing how that goes beside the Cress and be a nice comparison to see how the bushranger gear holds up.
Yeah, it will be. It'd be good to see how they are going side by side, especially the mowers. That'll be the main thing with it all. But they've got a different battery system though, haven't they?
I don't have the mower for the bushranger, but I've got a good range of handheld tools there. So that bushranger are running their 82-volt battery lineup. They've got a couple of options. They've got a 36-volt lineup as well, but I've got the 82-volt lineup, which is the commercial range.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. It'd be interesting to see how you go with it all.
So on that, they've got a 4 amp and an 8 amp battery, and the 4 amps 82 volts is a decent battery. And you don't want to put an 8 amp battery in your whippersnipper.
Oh, that'd be too heavy, wouldn't it?
Way too heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. But it'd be good to see how they all go with it all. Yeah. And with the Crest, I've got the backpack blower too, and I can't fold it. Well, it's got a couple of small things, but nothing major with it all. And I've used the battery. I've had a white battery in there doing residential lawns, and I've had 2 days, and that white battery's lasted.
Yep. Yeah, the only negative that I would say about the backpack blower that they have, because I rate it as comparable to a petrol backpack blower, by the way. It delivers the goods, but the only negative point is the weight. It is up around 15 kilos, I think, with a battery on it. So
yeah, that's what I find. So it's a bit heavier than the petrols.
For most people, this is not an issue. If you're a slightly slender build, then you probably will notice it more.
Yep.
But it's not like a petrol one where the torque twists you back because of the direction of the electric motor, and the spool speed is not causing a big torque twist on your back like the petrol ones do. If you've got a BR 800 on your back and you pull the throttle, you feel your whole back twists as you're going, right? Whereas the Crest, you don't get that. So that means the weight doesn't affect you adversely in that way. But where it does become an issue is when you're using it for a whole battery in one sitting. I find if I put the red battery on there, that's about 20 minutes, a bit over 20 minutes from full to flat. If I put the white battery on there, it's a little bit over 40 minutes from full to flat. When I'm using backpack blower, I'm using it for over an hour, and 15 kilos on your back for over an hour.
Oh, yeah, so you're going the whole hog with it all.
So I'm running multiple batteries through it in one go and then putting them all on charge and walk away.
Yeah, that's right. But, that's where I'm looking at it too. If I've got the backpack blower, I might just get a couple more Reds batteries so it's lighter on the back. You'll go through them quicker, but they'll charge pretty quickly as well on site. So
yes, that's right. Yeah, so if you need the power of the backpack blower, but you want the batteries to cycle, the red batteries are the way to go.
Yeah, and I like that because it's got the 4 different speeds on it too, so you don't have to go hard and you drain the battery straight up on the blower.
The other thing that's worth mentioning there, we're going down this Crest rabbit hole. Crest is going to have to come up with some more stuff to talk about when I interview them.
Yeah,
that's all right. But the charger options for Crest, because they rave about their quick charge.
Yeah.
So the 240 volt charger, and we're not talking their Cyberstation, which is the
just
DC charging. We're talking the 240 volt charger. So you plug it into a regular 10 amp circuit, and it will charge pretty much as quick as you could expect out of most of their batteries. So it's not 8 minutes on everything, but their small 240 watt hour cartridge battery, it'll do an 8 minute charge on that. Most of the other red batteries are up around the 20 minute charge, 20 to 25 minutes. And then that white battery is, like I said, it's like an hour and a half charge, or 3 hours if it needs to cool it down first.
Yeah, right. All right. Too, it's one of those things. I mean, I found with some batteries too that I didn't let them go flat. So I might use them 3/4, so there's still something in them, and then throw it on a charge and change the battery over. So you didn't have to wait for the full charge to be done in it, going through. So it just depends on what we're doing.
Yeah, and if you're not using it all in one sitting, then getting things back on the charger and topping them up is a great idea. For me, when I'm saying I'm using the blower, I'll go through the 2 red batteries. I can put them both on that charger, and they charge synchronously, so one after the other. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
And so if I go through both those red batteries, I put them on charge. 40 minutes later, they're both fully charged, ready to go.
Yeah, there you go, ready to go again.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing.
I guess the other thing there is you can go to their DC-DC charger, which they've got a couple of options there. So their small DC-DC charger allows you to use the white battery to charge their other fast charge batteries.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah.
So the 1.5 kilowatt hours, you can use that to charge their small 240 watt hour batteries back to back, as long as you've got charge in the white battery.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And similar sort of speed. Otherwise, you're going to their cyber capsules, which I think they're up like $12,000 and $16,000 or something like that.
They're a fortune, those things, They're worth, I mean, if you've got a lot of batteries, they'll be worth it to charge on the side and stuff.
I think they have a place, but when I had a chat to Chris about this, I was like, all right, what's my options if I'm running out of the back of my ute and I don't want to spend $16,000 on your cyber capsule? From what I can gather, and I'll go into depth with this when I actually interview them. Having a dual battery setup in the back of my ute, I'm going to need upwards of 6 kilowatt hours of battery in the back of my ute to be able to run those Crest tools all day without worrying about running out of battery.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And what I will do, because I'll be running Bush Ranger gear and Crest gear a lot, and when I'm running out of the back of my ute, this is when it's going to need to supply that sort of power. Then I've got 2 kilowatt hours of battery in the back of my ute at the moment, and it won't keep up.
No, it wouldn't. So, but I mean, and that's one of the reasons I bought a couple extra white batteries, because I can take them to site, charge them, and I'll charge them all at home. So I know that I should have enough battery to get me through the day with the work I've got there, ahead of time.
So on a larger property, you can charge on site where you've got access to 240 volt power, which is a great way to do it, particularly with Crest fast charging like that. It just makes sense to do it. For me, I've got a Polaris EV buggy, and that's got 15, 16 kilowatt hours of battery in it, plus a 2 kilowatt inverter. So I just plug my chargers into the buggy and charge them from the back of the buggy while I'm on site. And that,
right.
Like if I really hammer it and put it on charge after a couple of days, but typical sort of work that I'm doing, I get a week running around with the buggy, driving it around and charging batteries.
That's good. No, that's actually good. That's not a bad setup with it all.
So just based on that, if I go from 15, 16 kilowatt hours of battery storage in the buggy that I'm driving as well as charging batteries, I'm looking at dropping down to about 7 kilowatt hours of battery that I'm putting in the back of my ute. So I'm looking at doing that setup at the moment. So that way...
let me know how you go with that, because I might have to go down that line too at some point.
Yeah, my thought there is 7 kilowatt hours of battery in the ute with a 400 watt solar panel on the top. And you might say 400 watt solar panel is not going to do much. Yeah, it's not going to do it. It's not going to keep up with that sort of current draw. But it's going to. It actually does a really good job. It's a decent sized solar panel. It does a really decent job until you start doing a lot of batteries through it. So that's when having the alternator charger connected up and then potentially just recharging that battery system at home as well.
Yeah. There's ways around it. We'll work. You work it out with what you got to do.
But that's where I think that 6 to 8 kilowatt hours of battery storage in the back of the ute is going to get most of us through a solid day.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, for sure.
And if you got a sunny day, chances are you'll be way in front with the 400 watt solar panel on top.
Oh, the solar panel on top,
and with the alternator charging in between jobs.
Yeah. So that's one of the advantages or disadvantages of when I'm at a site, like with doing all our homes and stuff, because we don't drive. So, but we can plug into the houses, which makes it, that's the advantage of it all. Going forward.
And that's the thing with battery, right? Like you look at where you get your power from. If you're running petrol, where do you get your power from? You got to go to the servo.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas if you're running battery, you go, well, I've either got a dual battery system in my vehicle, or you're on a site where you can charge from power, or do you have enough batteries to get you through a day and you put them all on charge when you get home? And there's multiple ways of doing it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, you can. I've talked to a few people. Like, you can actually set up the charging systems in your car so that you can basically pull up to someone's house if you wanted to, or your home, and run an extension lead out to your car and charge them all that way too if you need to.
Yes.
By the flick of a switch. So that there's options out there for it all.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people that have set that up in the back of their work trailer or their truck, so that they just, when they pull up at home, they just pull an extension lead out, charge from their trailer.
Yeah, it's a good idea, I think, in a way.
It depends on your setup, because there's a lot of people that have their trailer parked on the side of the road. I don't actually have a trailer at the moment, but mine, when I had the trailer, was always parked in my shed up the backyard, so security's not an issue, power available, easy to work it out like that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Depends what suits.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's all.
Yeah. Hey, that's a massive rabbit hole we've just been down there.
It has, mate. It's all been for I suppose, the good of it all in a way. And, we've gone down that line of about the crest, and you're trying the bush ranger out there as well. We'll see how it all travels moving forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, this selling point is massive around warranty and then the rapid charging, right? That's probably their key 2 points for selling. The biggest point with Bush Ranger in terms of why I would use the Bush Ranger battery gear, and like I said, just started using it, so we will get more feedback as I use it. But their biggest selling point is that they're backed by the biggest distributor in our industry, which is Roy Gripsky.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, that's a bonus.
So anything you see from Bush Ranger, it may have been made by a third party, depending on what we're talking. Their petrol tools, their zero turn standards, their battery tools, all that may have come from another party, but they are backed by RGS or Power Up Lawn Equipment.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's good to know.
But it gives me a lot of reassurance that if there's an issue, which, touch wood, no issues, that the warranty is backed by people who really care. You know what it's like if you go in with a tool and you get told, "No, go away, don't want to talk to you." But if you're dealing with a brand like that, you've got a lot of trust in them.
Yeah, and that and you're going, and that's one of the reasons I went to SCAG with the standards as well, with the information and people willing to help out with it all, which was a good thing.
Yeah, well, I've interviewed Duncan Russell. He's the owner of International Mowers. I've talked to him a few times, and he's a man of his word.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Well, look, as you said, from the start, I do with Scott down at dollar mowers and stuff, so he's really good with a lot of the information that helps out heaps from there. So, which is good.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what else would you like to know, Gary?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. What do we want to cover now? So we've covered some of the backbones of your business in terms of how that looks, where you started, and how you operate your business. We've talked about a lot about tools.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. There's a lot of stuff we do or can do or have done in a way, like a lot of the business people with it all from there. Like we do lawns, treatments and stuff as well. Looking after all that, spraying, like you said before.
Yeah, well, we did talk about touching back on that spraying because we were talking about a couple of things last week when we were lining up the interview in terms of spraying and using glyphosate. I am going to say anybody listening, you're doing it commercially, go and get your chem cert done. That's totally just a given. You don't have to. Despite what people say you have to do it, you don't have to. There are states where you do have to. So read the rules and make sure you know what your obligations are. I'm going to say that if you don't do it, you're setting yourself up for a massive risk and failure point.
Well, I agree with that. Like at the start when I started doing a course and many years ago, done it with part of working with different companies and just continued on. But then talking to some of the teachers doing it as well, they basically said, if you've done the course, you've got something behind you. And the way that one of them explained it, he goes, if you're doing it for your neighbour, someone like that, and you're helping them out, but you don't know what the other neighbours are like, they can accuse you of killing their plant if a plant dies.
Yeah.
So you've done the course, you fill out the information, you're covered in a way.
Yeah. So keep in mind, there's a couple of things that come up here, and I want to pull it back to understanding the sprays more, but what you're talking about there comes to do you have insurance that covers you for what you do? And having done the course is a form of insurance. It's not literal insurance in terms of going, well, that neighbour's going to make an insurance claim against me. It's more a case of going, hey, I know what I was doing the right thing, so I can comfortably tell you I didn't kill your plants.
Yeah.
Comfortably and confidently, because you know what you know once you've done ChemCert. The other factor that we bump on with insurance is most people have public liability insurance. If you don't have public liability insurance, go and get it. Again, like you can say, go and get it. professional indemnity insurance is what my wife needs for her work and what doctors need for their work. And anybody who is offering advice needs professional indemnity insurance. So if you're offering advice, and I would say when you're offering a professional spray treatment, then your customer is in essence not just taking what you're doing, but they're taking your advice on what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
So professional indemnity insurance is what doctors need when a patient comes to them and says, hang on a minute, I took your advice and I died.
That's the thing. I mean, it's the chemicals thing. It's a lot of caution, a lot of questions to be asked, I suppose, in a way of it all. And you mentioned that glyphosate stuff before too. That's another subject with it all.
That's where I was heading, right? So we're talking about the different reasons for different types of insurance.
Yeah.
But when it comes to using glyphosate or some of the other chemicals that we are inclined to use in our industry, there's a label on the chemicals. Now, if you have done ChemCert, you know that you follow the label and you do what it says. And if somebody says, oh, you can use glyphosate at half strength, that's off label. So what that means is you're no longer following the label. You're actually going against what the manufacturer is saying is the correct way to use the product. If you use half strength or double the strength, triple the strength, all those different things. So ChemCert teaches you to follow the label. And if you go off label, then you're actually potentially breaking laws in some products that we use.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So glyphosate's a classic example because there are a number of weeds that are glyphosate resistant. And one of the reasons is because people have used it off label and used weak diluted glyphosate to try and save money.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah.
But I guess the other thing that comes up there, Craig, and you throw this back in your court, the different types of products that we use have different applications you can use. If you follow the label, you can still find, there's a rate for spraying nutgrass, and then there's a rate for spraying onion grass, or there's a rate for spraying blackberries, and then there's another rate for doing some like a tree.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, you can have 5 to 6 different mixes in your backpack, depending on what you're spraying too, because just not one thing kills anything anymore either. Yeah. With it all, and then do you put your pre-emergence in, post-emergence, wetting agents, all that in there as well. With it all, you just got to be careful with what you use, and like you keep saying, read the label, do what it says. You're going to be covered in a way of it all, and trying to work out the right chemicals to be using too. That's what I'm finding interesting these days with it all.
Yeah, and then once you're doing commercial work like this, there are a whole host of chemicals available from the chemical providers rather than going to Bunnings and looking at what's on the shelf at Bunnings.
Yeah,
typically, whatever's on the shelf at Bunnings is presumably available for a homeowner to buy without needing any sort of licensing or training.
Yes.
But because we're doing it commercially, we run into requirements fairly quickly. And like I said, not everyone has to have it, but if you do, like this is New South Wales legislation, not every other state. If you do less than 5 litres of concentrate or less than 20 litres of mixed product in one day, technically you don't have to have done ChemCert.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, that's what we get told in the courses all the time too. But I just find it's just as easy to do the course. You learn a bit more. You can talk to other people as well about the products, how you do and everything else, what's the best sprays and all that crap are as well.
That typically means one spray for a day or a job, and you're at the limit of what you need. So basically, if you're doing it commercially, get ChemCert, because otherwise you're running that line of being over the limit. And nobody might notice if you're over the limit, because who's counting other than you? Yeah. But if you know you're over the limit, all you need is one person to complain, report you.
And it's all good. It's all good until something goes wrong.
Yeah, then you've got a problem.
Yeah, majorly. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing. I mean, it's like, where do you store your chemicals? You can't store them near your petrol. So that causes chaos, or makes it harder for people anyway. With storing on use. I mean, who does that? That's each to their own.
Yeah.
with it all.
So you do a range of different chemicals then in your regular work. So things like selective herbicides.
Yeah.
And then obviously your Roundup, glyphosate, or anything
Roundup,
else?
glyphosate. Occasionally we'll use Slasher, the organic stuff. And then depending on what other weeds that there is, we've started to mix Grazon in as well, because we're getting that sticky nightshade, that like cactus looking plant in a lot of the rural properties. That's just Roundup won't kill it. It just basically burns it, keeps growing through. And then we might have grass and everything growing in there as well. So you've got to put something else in there like Fuselade or the apparent Salvo 212, which is for grass only. To make it a bit easier going through. And then, like you said, there could be the nut grass, onion weed, everything else going in from that. And that's the garden part of it all. And then there's also the lawns. The word will do the broadleaf and treatments going through the year.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's quite a range of chemicals that you use, and I guess that's another reason why ChemCert is just a no-brainer, because if you're doing more than just a 5-litre pack of Roundup once a day, then there's a bunch of labels that you need to understand.
Yeah, that's right. And, because we do the work for contract to a couple of companies, so you've got to have all your swims and everything else with you as well on board, which everyone should have if you're a business anyway, and using any chemicals.
Yeah, that's an interesting one on its own, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're just doing residential yards, you probably don't need to. You probably have never even thought about these things.
No, that's right. I mean, I only found the other day that there's a couple of apps coming out now that will they say legally have your swims and stuff on board. You take a photo, download it, it stores it in a folder for you. So if you ever need it, it's there ready to go, and it automatically updates and stuff, which will be good. So you don't have to keep carrying the paper stuff around everywhere.
Yeah, well, I think, again, it depends who you're working with, but sometimes you need to have a hard copy that is dated to say that, yep, it's been signed by everybody working with me, and it's dated for today, and every day you've got to produce another hard copy with the new date on it.
Yeah, I know.
Other places, it's like review every 6 months, every 12 months, every month.
Yeah, and there'd be some places that don't even ask for them.
Oh yeah, plenty.
And going through there with all that sort of stuff. So
I remember the first time I did something for an aged care provider, and they said, "We need your license," and I'm like, "License for what?"
Yeah,
and they didn't even know what license they were asking for. Like they're like, driver's license.
Yeah, it was just that they got told you have to have a license for basically. That.
So
okay.
So they would have been told, and this is an assumption, but I think it's a very accurate one. They would have been told that if you've got a contractor coming on site, they need a license.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if that could have been the landscaping license thing that is out and about too.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, right? If you're just cutting grass, you don't need a landscaping license.
No, you don't. That's the whole thing with it all.
If you're doing
some of that sort of stuff.
If you're doing jobs that are sort of $50 to a couple $100, you don't need a contracting license.
No, you don't. No, not at all. So, but yeah, no, it's a different ball game with the chemicals and trying to find stuff that works. That's the hardest part, and patience with it all. Like we were talking about the other day, it's just trialing new stuff and seeing how it works and what can be used where.
Yeah.
With it as well.
Look, half of it is that training that you get when you do the ChemCert. The other half is having a good relationship with your providers. So if you've got a provider that sells you chemicals that you can go to, and there's a couple of providers I would trust, but I like the guys up in the Hunter Valley that Hunter Lawn Care Supplies. Darren, he's brilliant. His knowledge is second to none. So I go to him when I need something.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of other providers that are really worthwhile. If you form a good relationship with them, then you go to them and you say, hey, this is what I need to do. And they will make sure you've got what you need and that you know what you're doing with it.
Yeah. Well, I like we've got a few rural suppliers out and around this way, which I sort of stay in touch with them all as well. I've been talking to Brenton from the Aussie Lawn as well, and he's been helping us a fair bit with some of the chemicals and stuff to use as well.
He's a wealth of knowledge, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's really good with that stuff. So, yeah, it helps. It's good to have those contacts around with it all going forward.
Yeah, I think one of the other ones is at KC Adams. I think.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
I'll double
Maybe
check
I have.
it.
Yeah,
okay. I think that's it.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're one of the larger providers that have places all around the country.
Yeah. But yeah, it's trial and error too. I mean, that's, we had a hit of army grub up at a place where I was looking at doing these lawns for, and 2 weeks later, the army won't come back again. And we'd done treatments and everything, and they'd laid new turf on a property next door. So we don't know what happened, but I've got videos of the army grub up on a brick wall. Yeah. I've never seen so many army grub in a thing. And in 2 days, they wiped out 2 back lawns.
That's insane, especially after they've been treated.
Yeah. Yep. So we don't know if it's flown in. So the treatment will only kill what's there, depending on what you use. There's the aceleprant and stuff like that. But how quickly that stuff works, I don't know. But yeah, and it also depends with the turf farms and everything, when they've treated and everything come in. So,
well, I believe with the aceleprant, if you do the treatment well, it's supposed to pretty much kill off the grubs that are there, but it's also supposed to stay active for up to 6 months in the soil.
That's what I've heard too.
So I wouldn't mind double checking that, because I think the other theory there is that if you do a treatment twice a year, that you're taking them out when they're breeding. So if you do one around July, August, and then another one around March, April, then you're getting them at those breeding times. So you're not knocking them on the head. But then, like you say, like if they're coming in from the neighbours and you haven't treated the neighbours, then I don't know how effective it is. And it's something.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we found.
Really worth asking.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because the stuff I put up some questions and people were just sort of surprised with it. And yeah, I mean, I sprayed it and they basically died, disappeared, didn't see them. And then because it was a new turf, so we actually lifted up the turf the next day because I had to replace it. And I said, don't replace until we respray again. And there was still some underneath the lawns that were, half still alive, slowly going. So we hooked into it from there. With that, but a lot of with that, I found in the past, because in the past I've used Bunnings and stuff from their products, but reading their labels, you've got to spray them 3 times, not just the once. And that's where people get caught out, like a Monday one week, Tuesday the next week, and Wednesday the next week, to break that cycle going through.
Yeah, so it's worthwhile for people to check what the product label actually tells them to do to make sure that they're getting the product used.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but it's all living and learning, I suppose, in a way.
Definitely.
Yeah, going forward with that stuff. But yeah, see what happens with it. It's all future. We'll never know. And then we might not get it again for another time. Who knows? Yeah,
well, I've found particularly army grubs, they tend to reach plague proportions, which where they do the damage.
Yeah.
When the conditions are just right. So those times of year, you expect the conditions are more likely to be just right, and that's when they're more likely to hit. That's when they're breeding. That's when they're going to reach plague proportions really quickly. But also what I found is when I have gone to a lot of trouble to care for my lawn, it's made it more susceptible to army grubs.
Yeah, because they love a healthy lawn. Yeah.
So the conditions were such, and this was a trial that I was doing, right? If you change the height of your lawn, it changes which grass breeds will thrive.
Okay. Yeah.
So because my lawn has a mix of grasses in there, I've got kikuyu and cooch and buffalo in there. It was suggested that if I raise the height, it will suffocate out the cooch.
Okay.
So the buffalo will take over. The buffalo will be stronger with a slightly higher lawn. And then if you cut it down lower, the cooch will take over.
Yeah.
So I thought I want to try and choke out the cooch. So I'll let it grow to the maximum height I could cut it with the HRU 216.
Yep.
And it was really healthy, but, it looks like an American lawn when you're cutting it at 4 inches high.
Yeah.
And we got the heavy rain, and that heavy rain just meant the army grubs proliferated and attacked it, and it was dead.
Yeah, righto. Yeah. And that's what I'm finding too. Because I look after some lawns for this company in a couple of different areas, but it seemed to be up in this one area that they were hitting hard. Other areas that didn't really get Don't know why, but that's why I just put it to, like you said, healthy lawns. They're just going to love them, and have a field day from there with it all. So,
but yeah, I think because it was a little bit on the taller side and really healthy, and then just got that heavy rainfall, it was just the perfect storm.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like when this turf got laid, I don't know, it might have been 4 or 6 weeks ago. Is when we had the perfect weather, humidity, wet, everything else. It was right for the grubs to attack, and they just launched. But it's what we do. It's part of the lifestyle. So
definitely
do overgrown stuff and paddocks and bits and pieces as well.
So are you just using your regular, like your skag when you're doing overgrown?
Yeah. The new one and stuff. So yeah.
So that's an interesting topic because I always recommend people get a dedicated machine if they're going to be doing overgrown work. And of course, I've done plenty of overgrown work with my regular mower.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we all have. Yeah, for sure.
And in the early days, I started questioning that. I'm like, all right, what's a good alternative? Can I get a flail deck from a walker, or can I get a Deutscher or something like that? And I never actually made a purchase for something specifically to do it, but it just makes so much more sense to have a machine that is made for doing slashing.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, look, there's been stuff I've put up on the contractors page and stuff like going back to the 48-inch V-Ride. I mean, I've done some overgrown stuff that was up to waist height with it, and that's only got a 20 horsepower motor, 22 horsepower motor. And it struggled a bit going forward. I mean, I've mowed Lantana with that before. Just take your time with it going through. But I'm like you. I mean, I've thought about getting other machines, but then I look at maybe you can just go and hire some of them as well with that. But then having the 61-inch, like I used that on over 3 days on this big overgrown property. And I've put a couple of things up on Instagram with it. But we mowed, 10 acres?
Mm.
And I had a guy, Graham, helping me out. He's got a Ventrax for 1 day. And you couldn't see the top of his roll bar on the Ventrax while he was going. You could just see this little light flashing every now and then. And that's how high it was. And we got through it. Like, I mean, I was really surprised that with the Skag, and it'll be the other brands too that have got the bigger horsepower motors. So we're talking 38 to 40 horsepower. Kawasaki.
Yep.
I was surprised at what it could cut.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like my ZK's got 37 horse.
Yeah, right.
It'll do 6 foot high grass and spit it out.
Yeah.
But these mowers are what we call finish mowers. They are made for tipping the grass. They're not They're not made for paddock slashing.
And they're not. And I totally agree with that. Yeah.
And not throwing anyone under the bus here, because it's not just Kyle that's burned a mower to the ground. There's a number of people that have had smoke coming off their exhaust or burnt a mower completely to the ground by getting a lot of dry, dead grass around that exhaust when they're mowing.
Yeah, I've had it 3 times on the Skag XL now, where I've sort of found out what the issue is with it, where the plates and mufflers are, bigger mufflers and stuff, but it was the same thing. On the 48-inch, I've never had that issue, and it's been 3 times on the Skag. Yeah, touch wood, luckily. But, so we've got fire extinguishers on board and stuff like that, or I'll make sure there's water around when needed, because it's just to build up a crap on it and being able to put it out pretty quick and paying attention. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, so I had a listener in particular ask me about buying a Ventrac or a tractor and a slasher, or one of the many options that are out there for dedicated bush hogging, the Americans call it. And I was like, what's the right size tool for you to be doing this 5 days a week? Like, if you're going to use it once off, then you probably go for a Razorback. If you're going to be using it every day and you want to be doing a lot of ground coverage, then you want to get a tractor with a slasher, or you want to get a dedicated forestry mulcher. The Ventrac's a really great option if you're doing it, but you're not doing that amount of work, because then you can do a finish mow with the Ventrac, or you can put the flail on there and do the
that's right,
scrub clearing.
So there's a lot of options.
There are a lot of options, and the cheapest option that is dedicated to doing that is probably your Deutsches, and you can still buy them brand new in Australia.
Yeah, you can. And yeah, speaking of that, yes, I do have one, a Deutsche. Well, hang on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I've got a Deutsche H26, one of the old farm moles, walk behinds. So,
yeah, and
not for paddocks, but yeah, overgrown crap, yes.
I'm guessing if you put that through 6-foot high grass or blackberries or whatever, it'll just mulch it all up and just keep on moving.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm really surprised at the machine. I don't think the machine's like 40-something years old. Have to be. Still the original gearbox in it and the wheels and stuff on there.
Yeah.
I put a new motor on it maybe 2 or 3 years ago and upped the power to, I think there are only 8s they came with, so I've put a 10 horsepower on it. Yeah, it's got plenty of power behind it, which is really surprising. I'm amazed at that machine. It's a very basic machine, but cuts stuff so easily with it all, which is good.
Yeah, so see, I really push hard on this. I'm like, if you're going and taking your finish mower out there and cutting 6-foot high grass, it's doing damage. It's wearing, like the wear and tear on it is so much higher than when you're doing finish mowing.
Oh, yeah, totally agree. I mean, that's, I want one machine that does everything, but it's just not around, and I don't have the money to buy something like that with it all. And, integrating with people and getting to know people, what machines they've got, so you can start to sub your stuff out and use them that way, which I find a better way to do it, or you can hire a machine. But it just means, like you said, I mean, you go in with the blades, you must want a new set of blades after you do a paddock, because the stuff you find, you might want to give it a service after that too, because you've just gone and used like the hydros and everything like that, so, and worn all that out a bit going through. But I've got to say I was surprised at what it did. And and I only had to mow twice, so double cut on it, and it took it down. So I didn't do it short though. I cut them at about 4, so it's a bit mid height on the 61 inch, which looks like it's been slashed. And I was really surprised with it.
Catch Pro has been a supporter of Aussie Lawn Stars since its very first episode. Since we've formed a partnership with Catch Pro, a lot of Aussie Lawn Stars have made orders using the code LawnStars10, and I really appreciate your support. To continue supporting Aussie Lawn Stars, you can purchase your supplies and industry products from the Catch Pro website with the code LawnStars10 in all caps. Yeah, they certainly can do it, can't they?
Yeah, and I don't do it every day. If I was doing it every day, then I'd go and look at a tractor or something like that for sure to have it specified.
And I think that's where the difference lies, and that's where I push people towards it as well. Is like, you can do it as a once-off thing, and if you're doing it once every now and then, it doesn't justify to go out and spend $200,000 on a 200 horsepower tractor and slash it.
Yeah, well, that's right. And like you were saying, it's depending on what work you've got coming up and coming forward with it all too. It all comes down to the coin and what you can do, but what's moving forward, coming through with it all, and there's plenty of people out there. I mean, I never used to see Ventraxes for ages, and then all of a sudden, there's so many of them around. People have got them out and used them.
Ventrax are not a cheap machine.
No. I know a couple of people who have looked at the prices on them to get them brand new, and they're not. You're looking at over $100,000. You'd have to.
I think your starting point's about $80,000.
Yeah, that'd be about right. And then just depending on what you want, any of the attachments for the decks on it. The rough cut, if you want a flail, you want a finishing cut, depending on, and then there's all the other attachments you can get with it too. So
I don't even know if the starting point includes like a basic finished mowing deck on it or not.
I don't think it does actually. I think that'll be about for the machine itself, and then it'll be whatever you get for that, and that'll be the hard part too. I mean, it's a lot of money. That's why I say it sometimes. But you can do so much with it too. That's the thing.
There's a guy up here that does slopes and large areas, and he's using the Ventrac to do it.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
And I've had a bit of a chat to him. His name's Hugh, and I asked him if he'd do a podcast interview with me. He said yes, but we haven't lined it up yet. So Hugh, if you're listening.
yeah, exactly right. So, up the road from me is Graham from Breathe Easy.
Yeah, okay. I've had a chat to Breathe Easy. Because he uses the steam weeder.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a Ventrax, and he does really goes with it all from there, which will be good. I told him he's got to put some videos up with it to film it, so we can all see where he goes with it all. And especially at like where we are out here, there's a lot of lantana and stuff everywhere, and it's just a pain to kill.
It'd be the perfect machine for mulch and lantana up there.
Yeah, for sure. With that, but with the Skag too, the 61 inch, I was putting I've been using Cavalier blades on that.
Yeah.
For the overgrown stuff. So I think it's called the finisher blade with it. So I found their first original blade. I can't remember what it's called, but where it bends down on the bottom on the wing, it's too much. So when you lower your machine down, you forget it's on, so you're scalping and hitting the ground and stuff. So, but the finisher's reduced a little bit more. I'm surprised at how much easier it makes the grass, like for overgrown stuff.
Yeah, okay. So the Cavalier blades are an Australian-made blade, and I've had a chat to a few people about these. Mixed reviews on it, and I think the results you're talking about does make quite a big difference. So what it has is at the end of the blade, is it the little part that points down?
Yeah, it does. So right at the end of it, I don't have
at the tip,
but yeah.
Yeah, so at the tip of the blade, it bends down 90 degrees.
90 degrees, and it comes down, and it goes on an angle, so it's not flat. So it's like a triangle as it goes downwards as well.
Okay. So the idea of that is that when you have long grass and you're cutting like 6 foot high grass, we'll go back to 6 foot high. might be 2 foot high, whatever it is, it's long grass, right?
Yeah.
You get the long runners that are reaching for the sky. As your mower goes over them, they get folded down flat, which means typically they go under the mower, flat, don't get cut up. And that's where the Cavalier will actually pick up those strands and cut them even though they're folded over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I was surprised when I first tried them, and for long, thick stuff, I'd recommend them for sure. Even for normal maintained stuff, they're still good because of the way that the aerodynamics in it throws me out.
Yeah. So if you're cutting grass that's like the Americans, like around that 4 inches high, what you find is when the front of your deck goes over the grass, the leading edge of the deck folds the grass down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then if it's a well-designed deck, and we won't throw any brands under the bus here, some of them are not so well designed. But if it's a well-designed deck, what happens is there's a gap between the leading edge of the deck and where the blade starts cutting. So as the grass folds over to go under the leading edge, it stands back up again. The air force from the blades also sucks the grass up, and so it cuts it nicely. Right.
Yep.
If your grass gets a little bit longer, or you're trying to cut it lower, like you're taking more than a third of the leaf off, then that's where that leading edge tends to do a bit of damage, and you don't get as nice a cut because it's trying to take too much off the leaf and it doesn't stand up nicely, and then you get grass folding over instead of cutting nicely. There's a bunch of things people have done to try and fix this problem. So Walker have their 4-pin posts where you can actually lower the front of the deck different to the back of the deck, and you've seen a lot of push mowers like that where you've got the ability to adjust the deck at different angles so that it digs in a little bit better at the front. Or if you look at a Altos, you know what an Altos is?
They're one of my ones I would like to try, on the list.
An Altos is a tracked mower. Orec is another tracked mower that's available as well now. But with the Altos, or when you go into the Orec with the flail deck, what happens is a lot of them have a leading edge of the deck that is much higher, and they'll just put some chains hanging down or something like that, so you don't get a lot of stuff getting thrown back out the front of the deck as it gets mulched up. But that allows a lot taller grass to come into the deck and get cut directly before it folds over.
Yeah, righto. Okay. So, actually, speaking of the Altos, have you tried one of those ones yet?
No, I haven't used one. I've had a good look at them, but I haven't used one.
Okay. Yeah, curious about them. Every time I've been to a show that someone's been out or something like that, or I'm there too late to see them, I've looked at them as well, and they don't look like too bad of a machine.
They were down at Diesel Dirt and Turf, and I was down there a couple of weeks ago, so that was great.
Yeah, righto. Yeah, okay.
Less than 2 weeks ago.
I didn't go this year, so. But yeah, it would have been good to see it. I'd like to get one and try it. Just plenty of fun to it.
The guys at SME sell them. So the same company that sells Walker and a bunch of other brands. Yeah, they sell them. But yeah, so the reason I'm saying that is because your Cavally overcomes a lot of those issues that people try to fix by having like a higher leading edge or more gap between the leading edge and the back, or you go to a slasher. Like if you look at a tractor slasher, no leading edge.
No, there's not. Yeah.
All the things they do, and it'll have chains on it, much like that Altos does. Yeah. Things they do to try and make sure that they work better. And the Orec is a real interesting machine because it's a flail. It's designed so that you can actually angle it up higher, and you can then bring it back down on top of something.
Yeah. Well, it's what you need though for the long overgrown stuff. I mean, that's
particularly when you're getting into blackberries and lantana. You can lift that flail up high, go in, then drop it back down, and drag it backwards out. And
drag it back. Yeah. Well, maybe it's something else we can try and look at. Maybe buying at some point.
That was a lot of fun playing with that machine.
Yeah, righto. Okay. Did you? How long did you have it for? Or did you just play with the shows?
I just went down to Wollongong when Kyle was getting a demo. And there was like 3 or 4 of us down there. We had a bit of a play on the machine and some overgrown paddock down there. It was great fun.
Yeah, that's right. Were you happy with the end result of it? Like what it did?
Yep, definitely. The question mark is size. So, going back to the reason this conversation started is because if somebody's looking at doing overgrown work regularly, what machine are you going to use 5 days a week, 7 days a week, or once every now and then? And so the Orec is a very narrow machine, which means if you're doing a lot of work, you're going to start going, I want a forestry mulcher instead of an Orec.
Yeah. Well, no, that's true. I mean, going with the size of them, that's like what size ride-on do you go and buy when you're starting out with your business? So that's that other question with it all from there too. But yeah, I was going to, like the Cavally blades, going back to that, I was just happy with I've used them for about 12 months off and on, depending on different circumstances and stuff. And yeah, I was happy with the blade. Like it was really, really good, especially for this long overgrown grass. Because like you said, it folds it, but then what I did was I'd done a revert just when I mowed it forward and then mowed reverse, and second cut made it look like a lawn coming backwards, so it was perfect.
That's what you want. So it's like you said, it's the finisher, but it's definitely not a finish mow. It's not.
I think they call it a finisher. I could let me actually.
Yeah, it's definitely made for cutting long grass and making long grass short, but it improves the mower's ability to make long grass short, and like you say, it cuts it properly, so it actually then looks like it's meant to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I might put up a couple of things on the Instagram page and with that for the befores and afters, which is, like I said, I was really surprised at it from there. But yeah, the power of that Skag was pretty good. I was surprising with that, going back to that stuff with it as well.
Yeah, so. I'm guessing you wouldn't use it for regular mowing. You only use it when you're doing overgrown jobs.
The Skag or the blade?
The Cavally.
Oh, the Cavally, yeah, it's only for overgrown stuff. I've learned not to use it for regular. Regular, I put the normal cut in because I'll be in my little zone mowing and I forget because it's got that tip down. I'm always hitting concrete or bits and pieces going through. I've learned a few times.
Yeah, less than I did.
Yeah. And it only takes, 15 minutes to change the blades over, so it doesn't matter on the mowers.
Yeah, that's it. Easy job.
Yeah, to have them more. Yeah, ready to roll from there, which is good.
So do you just do it off the back of your trailer?
Off the back of well, I got the truck, so I got an Isuzu truck.
Yeah.
With a 4.5 metre tray on it, so I've got all my crap on the truck. Basically a one-stop shop, and I can just put the mower into a spot. By the 48, and then the 60. Can't put it on the truck yet because it'll be overweight with too much stuff on the truck.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it's only the small NLR models I've got. So off the trailer, and it's quick and easy. It doesn't take long to do it all.
Very good. You'd be one of the few people who actually abides by the truck's weight limit.
I'm close. Let me just say that. I'm very close for the weight. Yeah.
Man, a lot of people wouldn't even bother weighing their equipment or going, I wonder how close I am. If you're saying, if it fits, it fits.
Well, yeah, basically that's why I was. And the only reason I know because I had to get a wheel alignment on it, and the truck place weighs it when they get the wheel alignment, and they said, right on the scale. So, yeah, just be careful. And, again, it's all good until something happens. I mean, you don't think of that stuff going through, though, too. But because I have a range of stuff on there, because I've got everything, it's just, that's why I got the truck. They have it all on board, so I don't have to keep changing.
Yeah, and look, I think more and more people start looking at that nowadays. So either run a truck so they can keep everything on the truck ready to go, or they go to a van so that they can be mobile without a trailer.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, through COVID, I had to look at getting another vehicle because the ute I had I had to get rid of it. So, and the price of utes and the price of a truck, I think it was an extra 10 grand. I got the truck, but I could fit double the amount on, didn't have to tow, and I could get to a lot of the places with the truck on board because I got the narrow cab one back in the time when I had suburban streets and stuff to go down. So
yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you can tow when you want to put the both mowers on there.
Yeah, when I tow, then I've got, then I've sort of got too many mowers at this point. But yeah, I can tow when I need to. With all the crap on board. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, fair enough. So have you set up a box that's out of the weather on the truck, or is it all open?
It's all open. So if it's going to pour down with rain, I'll throw a tarp over it. If I know, if it's only light rain, it's okay. But a lot of the stuff I'll try and cover when need to. I did think of putting a box on. I may as well just go and buy a Pentec truck. It'd be the easy way of doing it.
Yeah, well, that's another way of dealing with that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Everything's out of the weather.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of extra weight for the Pentec.
Well, yeah, that's right. And things change. It's like businesses change 12 months, 2 years with what you're going to do and which way you head. With it also, we're sort of getting ready for, like I spoke about earlier, with this weather, drought-wise coming forward and starting to do something like that with all the lawns we look after to get it ready to roll.
Yeah.
If we get that, we don't know. Hopefully we don't get drought, but it's part of what's going to happen. And then water restrictions will come and everything else as well.
Interesting to see how it goes over the next year or two.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people have forgotten about the drought we had because here we had, what was it, end of 19, we had the big bushfires down this way, and I think you guys had them up there as well.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And it was so dry, and then COVID hit, so everyone's forgotten about drought.
Yep, that's right.
Going on to that, and they're still building houses and they're still using the water, and they're not doing any bigger dams or anything like that to counteract it all.
That's right.
Yeah.
We will see.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I mean,
you hear, particularly in our industry, people whinge when it's dry, they whinge when it's wet, they whinge when everything happens. So it's like, wake up, we live in Australia, you're going to get everything.
Yeah, you will, and you can get 4 seasons in a day, as you know. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. But yeah, we'll see where it all goes.
No, Craig, it's been interesting talking to you. I just want to say thanks for joining me, and I think the listeners will get a lot of value out of it.
No worries, thanks, guys. Anytime, mate.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.